Hello and welcome to Watchin It, episode 196. On today's show, going a little different, going a little unique for us. We are going to be covering the channel Omeleto on YouTube.
That's spelled Omeleto.
Yes, and
Omeleto.
This is a channel of short films that me and Robert stumbled upon. I guess Robert found.
I did. I found it, and then I hadn't really gotten into it.
Yeah.
I'd watched a couple of episodes just randomly, and they were really good. And then you saw it in my history, and I was like, oh, yeah, let's check out some of these.
Check out some of these.
And we watched one, and it was really good.
So
and
I'm
it's
gonna
the one that we're going to cover.
Yes.
It's the one that we're going to cover today. And then I was like, oh, then we started another one.
Yeah.
But we hadn't started recording that day yet, and I was just like, no, we have to stop because we'll just watch these all night long.
You will. And so I'm going to say I've watched quite a few of them.
I've seen like 10, I think.
I'm up to like almost 20.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. They're varying. Like there's sci-fi, there's drama, there's some that are like really focused on comedy, while other ones are very serious and dealing with like hard subjects.
Yeah, all over the place.
They're all over the place. Well shot for the most part.
Some are cartoons, some are stop motion animation,
CGI.
some are just straight video.
Yeah, straight video. But what I will say so far is the one we watched, which we're going to talk about, it's called Stalled. That's going to be coming up at the end, though. We're not going to start with the best. But I will say, I think that one, like, don't get me wrong, I've liked a lot of it. Like, there's a ton of them. But I still feel like Stalled
cut above
is just the best one. Like, we got lucky, or not lucky, that was the one we first saw, because I'm just like, this one's just, it's just so, I watched it again before this. I'm going to watch it again today also. And even though I watched it the second time, I was like, this is just so freaking, and it still hits just right. But yeah, so we're going to be covering some Omeleto. We're going to be covering a few of the films. And because we're us, and it is actually Groundhog's Day, so this works.
Yeah.
You know we like a good time loop.
That's
so,
right.
Of course, we're going to be covering time loop.
A little time
Omeleto.
travel theme from Omeleto today. By the way, for anyone, you need to go check out this channel.
Yes.
All the videos, like the longest one I've seen is about 20 minutes. They're usually anywhere from like 9 to 14 minutes.
Yeah, there's some you can crank out, like there's a few that are like 6 minutes long.
Yeah. And they're all super high quality.
Yep.
And it's not just random people. Some of these are big
they got
name
celebrities
actors.
For
They've
some
got
of them.
actors
They got Stephen Yeun
from Snowpiercer. They got actors
Williams.
from Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. Like this is the real deal. So there's no information we can find about this to really talk. There's no wiki page for this. It's set up by some guy named Alan Tsai, Tsai. He's on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. But there's no website that tells us how this all came to be.
I've watched quite a few, and like I have seen the same directors on multiple ones. So like, I mean, it seems like it's just like a platform for these people just to get their short films.
And this isn't new. This has been around for at least 6 years.
Yeah. The oldest one I watched was 6 years old. I will say one thing I was actually thinking about while watching a bunch of these Omeletos and thinking about how good they are is one thing that I talked about with a friend of the podcast, even though he doesn't listen, so he'll never hear this. My friend Mike was talking about how much he hates award shows. Yeah. Because, you're rewarding people who already have it all. There are celebrities, they're already ultra famous, ultra wealthy. And yeah, I mean, of course, award shows also go to like, the makeup artists and that sort of stuff. But, best picture and best and all that stuff.
Well, when you're talking about the Oscars, what you're doing is inducting new members into the Academy.
But still, it's the people getting all the praise and adulations they've already achieved it all, essentially. Yeah. And now here's the thing. And he was like, I would love for there to be an award show for people doing this sort of stuff. Because I think about that too.
I mean, there are lesser award shows for podcasters one day.
Yeah.
And YouTube and Instagram and probably TikTok and all that stuff.
I just think about but all these small films, because also while watching Omeleto,
there is a short film section at the Oscars, and usually those are won by lesser known people.
True. Yeah. Yep. But anyways, very high quality stuff. So let's jump into our first one, Robert.
Our first one will be Lazy Boy.
Yes.
A man discovers a Lazy Boy recliner is a 1-minute time machine.
Yes.
All of these, they all have the name of what it is at the end, and then it's like the title is basically the description. So
yes.
it makes it very kind of hard to navigate depending on what device you're looking at or how big your window is or something. But you get by. This was a great one.
Yeah,
this was fantastic. Basically, you just have a stay-at-home guy, like a guy. I'm assuming he's out of work. I mean, we get in these we usually get no backstory, which is wonderful because you're allowed to paint the picture, right? This is a guy who is not clean shaven.
No,
he's just chilling out in front of the TV. He's a little messy. Maybe he hasn't showered. He's
he's sent out to get some stuff for a baby coming up.
Yep. His wife is sending out to get baby supplies.
Yep, and he comes across a yard sale.
Yep,
he comes across a yard sale, and he's like, maybe he can find some stuff there. So one thing I like, this was my second time watching it, as I said, is the attention to detail. Like, so he's sitting there with the tree.
By the way, go watch this first. It's 12 minutes.
Yep.
Watch it before you listen to it because we're going to spoil it. And most of these seem to have kind of like a twist in them or a surprise or something. So you kind of want to watch it before you get told what it is. Yeah.
But so we see, he looks up, sees a girl climbing a tree. And the other thing that I think just unique after, second time watching it is as he starts to cross the street to go to the yard sale, the camera angle that it's shot at shows the van that's gonna hit him coming up the road already. So it's so like that details in there, like that van's already coming.
I'd like to go rewatch it and see if maybe we can see him because spoiler, he's in a loop, right? And he's the one who gets hit by the van. Maybe we can see like in the background that he's running towards it or something like that. Like that would be. I mean,
the angle that the van is coming from is the way he's running from. So maybe that's interesting.
So anyway, he gets this lazy boy. He's at the garage sale. The guy stops him just before he's about to put it in recline mode because that's what activates the 1 minute time loop.
Why? And he's gonna sell it to him for $30, and I'm just like, why would you sell this?
I mean, maybe you're getting old and you don't have a use for it anymore. He's having a garage sale for some reason. Maybe someone died and he's given up. There's a prequel here.
Yeah,
right?
It seems like this man knows though, because he tells him use it responsibly.
Yeah,
like you don't. It's a lazy boy chair. If it's just a normal lazy boy chair, you're not telling someone use it responsibly.
Yeah, like maybe there's like this guy just spent like 50 years because he's an older man. Maybe not 50 years, but like 30 years. Trying to like save his wife from cancer or something, and he's given up, and she's died, and he's moving out, and he's getting rid of the chair and moving on with his life, or who knows what,
But so he buys the chair, takes it home, enjoying the chair as he watches one of the hokiest TV shows. I don't know what that show was.
It's a really bad, just fake made for TV movie kind of thing. I guess they couldn't get the rights to 5 seconds of something.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious they shot this fake TV show as part of this. Like they had a set for doing this. And wife comes home to find him in the chair and is not happy that he bought a chair and doesn't have baby stuff. And this is the first time he reclines it, which I find that kind of strange. I feel I would have gotten hope of reclining it pretty damn
I would have
soon.
Reclined it and made sure the recliner worked before I took it off the lot.
Before I gave him the money.
Yeah. I mean, it'd still just be a damn comfortable chair without the reclining function.
True. And $30 isn't bad for a comfortable chair. But and suddenly the TV show starts playing from a minute earlier.
Yep.
And his wife comes in, and this is I love that you got a kick out of it. Just
absolute
best line,
fantastic line. A lot of these have just fantastic one-liners, but she walks in because she'd walked in, berated him about buying the chair, and then headed into the kitchen to drop some stuff off. He resets time 1 minute. She walks back in. He looks at her and says, "Shouldn't you be in the kitchen?" I'm like, "Oh damn!" Like,
it's just
she gets so pissed. I'm just like, this lady. Why is she with this guy? He is. I mean, she's pregnant, and she's super pregnant. She's like 8 months along.
It's coming soon.
And I don't know when he's lost his job or why, what's going on with him, and stuff. But I'm just like, she's clearly, he's punching up. Yeah. She's punching down. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a point where it's like, I think she's gonna ask for a divorce or something. Like in the middle of this show, and I'm like, I don't know if I blame her. Like.
But I mean, it's probably. I mean, the one thing he kind of says is it used to be funny and cute. And so my thought is, I think they've been together for a while.
Yeah, no,
and
for
I
sure.
imagine
high school sweethearts.
I imagine, I was about to say back in high school, he was it was a different guy. Maybe he was on a football team.
Yeah,
and when I say football, I'm talking about the world's football, not American football, because I think this seems like it's in Australia. But anyways, so maybe he was on a football team. Got himself together, and he's in a slump right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tells him to get rid of the chair, and he just thinks it's weird. He hasn't connected the dots yet. But then he's drinking out of his nice R2-D2 mug in the basement and breaks it and reclines the chair back, and he notices that now the mug is fixed and his coffee's back in it. And that's when he connects the dots. Well, there's a time machine.
Yeah. So, first major question. Okay. Does he replace himself, or is this splitting the timeline that he's just disappearing from a timeline that no longer has him in it?
Here's the problem, because actually that's one of the things I wrote down is, remember when he goes farther back in time, and he's at the yard sale again,
and he sees himself.
So my question is, why isn't he, like, even if you go back 1 minute in time, there should be two of you.
Yeah.
Like you went.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, does he just erase the past self
if he's in
that's
the
in the new reclined version? Yeah.
I mean, maybe I guess if you're in the same spot, you just take over yourself.
My headcanon is that he is splitting the timeline every time he does it. He's just piecing out from a time stream that is continuing forward without him in it.
And in that time stream, he doesn't have a chair. Because my thing is like, it doesn't explain why there's two of them then if he's in a new time stream.
Because he goes back. Right?
Right.
But he can go back to a time stream that he's already in another place before he gets the chair.
See now, what?
I don't know. It's hard. It's a good question.
That was my biggest thing.
Because it doesn't make any sense that he's like just sitting in the regular sit position, and then a minute later he pulls it, and then he goes back a minute, and now he's in the reclined position.
Yeah.
Something has happened physically that is...
Yeah, there has to be some sort of displacement or something. Like, it's very weird. But anyways, this is my thing. Before this, like I said, ultimately at the end we learn that you can you can go back a minute, and then if you crank again right from there, you go back another minute.
Yep. That was initially like one of my questions, but
before that was established, I was thinking, let's just say you only can go back a minute at a time. Like if you go back a minute, you can't crank it again and go back farther. You can only go back because we see him basically. And you actually brought up a good point. He bets on some dog races.
Yeah.
Goes back, or he watches dog race, goes back in time, and then places a bet. But as you pointed out, they close the betting before the race even starts.
But we can just glance past that. But
I know. I want to glance past that, but I want to ask you. That's what I was going to say is, how would you make money?
Lottery.
You only got one
lottery ticket.
Like you buy the ticket.
Yeah.
Can you buy tickets online?
No, but you can drag that fucking chair into a convenience store.
Car. Yeah.
You're just going to go into the convenience store.
Okay, good point. Yeah. Because I originally thought like I'd have a friend go to the
get
casino
on the phone with them,
for me.
Oh, there we go.
But there's no way a casino would let you have a phone at the table. Like if you're talking, I mean, maybe not. Because I'd be like, have my friend be like, hey, I want you to, here's 50 grand, put it all on black. Pull the lever, undo it, and then he'd be like, oh, it's red. And all right, but he'd be like,
well, you don't even have to bet. You can just wait and see, hey, what was the last thing that happened? Was it black, red, or black? Or was it, what exactly was it? And then pull it, because if you do like a 50K bet on a specific number,
you're filthy.
But you're going to get, that invites trouble, I think, because the casino's going to be like, that is too weird that some dude just walked in with 100 grand, dropped it on the table. But also you have to think, this guy doesn't have 100 grand. He has like $3 to his name, maybe $100, because he does $100 bet,
and he does $100 bet
on the thing on the dog races. But like, as far as like maybe stock trading, right? Stock trading is an option. Bitcoin, speculate any kind of speculation. But I think your safest bet is to drag that chair to somewhere where you can jump up and buy a lottery ticket seconds before they announce the numbers.
That's 100% the way to go. I mean, people are going to look at you weird as you come through the door Safeway with a chair, but you don't care. You're about to be a millionaire.
You're going to do this at some at some gas station or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to get a job at the gas station.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that way you can just, are you allowed if you're at the gas station to work the machine for yourself? I wonder. I mean, he's in Australia. Maybe they don't have the lottery in Australia. I don't know how it works down there. But yeah, I think lottery is your best bet. It's the cheapest to pay out
100%.
option. It doesn't involve a whole lot of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Now I'm with you, lottery. Anyways, so he discovers he has a time machine.
Wait.
Oh.
No, because so he starts betting, but this is before he realizes that he can multi-pool.
Yeah.
Once you realize you can multi-pool,
that's why I'm saying it. Once you multi-pool, it becomes way easy.
You could do anything.
I mean, I could go to the casino myself in that scenario.
That's right. You could.
Yeah, that's why I say if it was only one.
Yeah,
minute.
You get the lottery numbers and then go back an hour and then go.
Once you can multi-pool, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. But okay, well then where's my other question I got from this outside of the scope of the thing is you can multi-pool, and he goes back. I think it's like 2 days. It seems like.
Yeah.
You have to it's
maybe
1
a
minute
day or something like that.
It's 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of pools.
So I'm like, how long to go back for a week? Like, if you wanted to go back a week, how long are you in that chair pulling?
Yeah. So I mean,
it's like 5 seconds, or probably like 3 seconds a pull. Not 5 seconds.
I could pull that. I could move up and down it. Man,
you got to pull the lever,
tired
and then you got to collapse down the thing. I'm saying 5 seconds.
You got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
Right, for something like that. Okay, we got to do the math on it. You want to go back? You want to go back a week?
We want to go back a week.
Right. So you want to do an hour? That's going to be 60 pulls.
Yeah.
Right. Times 24 hours times 7. Right. Yep. 10,080 pulls. That's going to take you, if you're doing like a nice pace, which is going to add time.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not hitting it on the minute,
if you're just yanking it right, you're gonna be at 1,000. You're gonna be just like bushed.
Yeah,
right. Like there's gonna be some. You're gonna have to take a break and then come back to it. Like every hour you do, you're gonna have to, break for a minute or something like that. Anyway, the math gets weird and stuff like that. But let's say that it's 4 seconds a pull.
Okay.
Right. So let's see, divided by 60 divided by. Oh, come on, go back. This is riveting stuff.
But this is the stuff I was thinking about while watching it.
11 hours.
11 hours.
11 hours to go back a week.
Pulling in a chair.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and like you can't be doing
worth
it.
Oh, worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
But so he does go back, and he said about a day, let's say a day or two or something like that, to when he's before the garage sale, because he wants to save the girl who he thinks fell from the tree and got hit by the truck.
Exactly.
I don't understand, like, if it's me, it's just me. I'm a little bit of a rubbernecker. I'm going to run over and see who got hit by the truck and see if I can help them or something.
I was like, you just left? You thought a little girl got hit by a van and you just left?
Yeah. And what about this old guy that's selling the chair? He knows what's up.
Yeah, why ain't he just
gonna
jump
be
in
like,
the chair and
I mean,
go back in
he
time?
may be like, he's like, c'est la vie, I'm done.
Yeah,
with
I
this,
mean, that's true.
But
yeah, the old
why
guy.
isn't he jumping in the chair being like, okay, let me save the girl as my one last thing, or something
maybe
like
he
that.
didn't see the girl up in the tree.
But I don't understand why the chair broke. Was it like just because he pulled the lever too much and it couldn't handle the strain? Or was it maybe more of like a cosmic singularity type of thing where because he reached a nexus point before he got the chair, like it wouldn't, because it just disappears as soon as he breaks the lever off.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't exist in that spot at that time, so
this is true.
That's my thought. I think it was just because
he got up.
Yeah, because he got out of it. Like if you would have said, I mean, that's the other thing. That's the thing you got to think about.
That's why
like,
it disappeared is because he got out of it.
You would want to record the day you started using the chair. Or the day you got the chair, because like you would not want to go back unless you wanted to lose the chair.
Yeah,
you would not want to go back before that pain.
Well, you got a loop because yourself is still going to buy the chair.
True.
Then you're in a time loop. Yeah,
and those things tend to correct themselves. So, anyways, we're getting around.
I want to see like another version of this. You know what they should have done is showed like the old guy. He should have just like his right arm should have just been jacked.
That's what I'm gonna say. Is like that's other thing. You're gonna have a jacked
like
arm.
He should have been kind of like kind of flabby and stuff because he's been sitting in a chair for a lot of his life.
Yeah,
but like just that one arm is just slim and trim.
Yeah,
just Fantastic episode. Everyone should
Yes.
go watch it. It's called Lazy Boy. Even if you didn't watch it before we started talking about it, it's still a fun watch. The acting is fantastic. The delivery is awesome. Just a cute little, 12-minute story.
Yep.
Fantastic. A great representation of what you get on Omeleto.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. All right, we got one more we're gonna do, but before we do that, let's talk about some recommendations that everyone should watch. I'll start us out. The first one that I watched is called The Box. Its description is a box full of miserable creatures, but one of them doesn't belong there. It is a representation of their stop motion stuff.
Okay.
It's just a cute little thing about some creatures that live in a box, a mysterious box, and has a little story to it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's very cute, kind of funny. Yeah.
Okay. So my first recommendation is going to be, I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Ooh.
And the description is 4 thieves to rob a bank, but they're
Oh,
all
yes.
cops.
I watched this one as well. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
This is representation, if you want, of the comedy side of Omeleto, because it is funny. The characters are well played, and just the way it all plays out is just fantastic.
And everyone's like, well, I won't tell you. I won't tell you anything. Yeah, just go watch it. Yeah.
Yep.
What was that one called again?
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Fantastic. Next up, I'm going to do The Narrow World. A giant alien creature comes to Earth.
This one was good.
But its reasons for arriving are unknown. This is a more subtle one. Kind of a weird kind of documentary style.
Yeah.
Maybe a little love thing here or there, whatever. Yeah, it's
a little bit of an ambiguous.
It kind of has like a District 9 feel to it, but
that's
much
100%
softer.
what I thought when I started watching.
And a very very unexpected kind of weird ending. Yeah. The Narrow World.
Nice. All right, my next one, and this one's really good, actually. But yeah, this one's really good. So my next one is O.I. And this one is, a man discovers the horrifying consequences of revealing his original idea. And this one goes places. It goes weird. It is very strange, and just a weird concept to grasp with, but it's a lot of fun. And yeah, the ending is, I wouldn't say it's a surprise ending, but it's a shocker. And then my last recommendation, this is if you want a quick one, this one's only 6.5 minutes. It's called Small Change, and it's a lonely thief steals a car and then makes a surprising new friend. And this one is also just a funny one, a quick one. And yeah, it's just good stuff.
What was the one we watched where the girl was a fictional character?
She was a fictional character written by a male. She was a male fictional character a female written by a male, and this how that changed her life.
That was the first one we watched. We were like, we got to talk about these shows like this.
Yeah, it just gets. It's just I mean, these things can be just straight up funny.
They're
weird
not all great.
There
are a few of them I've watched them like this isn't super good.
Yeah,
but most of them are really good.
Yeah, and they touch on so many different. Like I said, there's comedy, there's straight up sci-fi, there's
this is a
thought-provoking
curated
ones.
collection. So I'm assuming whoever's running this there's probably a lot that he gets sent that he just throws out and says like, this isn't the quality we need.
This isn't what we're running with
for the show. Yeah.
Anyways, check out Omeleto. But it's time to talk about the one that made me go, there's definitely something here. And that is the short called Stalled.
Stalled, yes. A man goes to a public restroom and gets trapped in a time paradox.
Time paradox. You knew as soon as you saw that we were watching.
Yeah.
It's in our whole thing. Like I just saw man in a public stall, time paradox. And I was like, yeah, we're going to watch this.
All right, before we go into the plot, everyone should go watch it.
Yes.
So far, it's the best one
on
the Omeleto channel that we've seen. It's called Stalled. Yeah, absolutely.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, so good. Go watch it 3 or 4 times because it's one of those like primer things where you're just like, you don't catch everything the first time around. Yeah.
Exactly. And before we dive into it, at least from my opinion, I love the music.
The music is fantastic. I wrote that down just a few minutes in. I was like, the music is so suspenseful
and it's spot on for each. I love when they're mapping out time and the music kicks in. And also another thing that I think we both agree on: dialogue. just the lines that he's
the
whipping
dialogue
out
that's written is fantastic.
is great. It's
funny
great
and
time paradox
and
lines,
confusing.
Talking to yourself. That's what I said.
Bravo to Jacob Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a one-man show, except for the mysterious janitor guy, which we'll get into. Just does a fantastic job at this. Yeah,
just a really good job.
All he does is shorts. He doesn't have really a big film career. Yeah,
no, but I mean,
high hopes for him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could do some stuff.
Yeah,
they should do a full feature-length film for this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like an hour and a half of this. I think I could do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other one.
This is 20 minutes long, so you're like almost you're a third of the way there.
Yeah. I like and there's been a few of them on Omeleto, including another one he was in the what is it? I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
I was like, I could see a longer version of this. Like there's plenty of them. I was like, a longer version of this would be great.
I mean, I could see a longer version of the chair one.
Yeah. There's just a
longer version of the narrow world with the alien robot. Mm-hmm. That would be really good. Yeah, all of them. They're just, but you know what? They're great as shorts, and they work as shorts. So they don't have to get that.
All right, let's jump into stall.
Yeah, this is a rough one to talk about because chronologically it's jacked.
But one thing that you pointed out to me that I didn't realize until you pointed out, because you were like the final watch, which we'll get into the watch in a second, is at 3:30.
Yeah.
And the first watch is at 3:10.
Yep.
And this movie
is
20 minutes long. Because you were like, they weren't paying attention. I'm like, no, they were paying attention because this movie is 20 minutes long. And there's also the part where they're talking about their timelines. And he's like, it's 10. He's like, that's in 10 minutes. It's like 12 minutes for me. And when you look at the time, it is, you know which one you're following because it is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we're with 10-minute guy, not 12-minute guy.
Good.
And it's
well, I mean, when he walks in, he's talking on the phone, and he's got the watch at 3:10.
Yeah.
And the guy he's talking to, who's in the mysterious meeting or whatever, is at 3:30.
Yeah.
So he's in the past already.
He's already
in the
past somehow, like stepping into the bathroom. Stepping into the bathroom already started the paradox.
Yeah. So anyway, he's just being an ass talking to this guy on the phone.
Spilt something on his shirt that he's trying to clean.
Yeah, he's got a coffee stain, and there's a janitor in the bathroom. And he's a jerk to the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves at the end. Spoilers. He leaves.
Yeah.
But I always think like the janitor is him. Like maybe he gets a job as a janitor and comes back.
I mean, it's definitely. I'll be honest. That's one thing I wrote down. One is at the end of this, you see him throw away his suit, coat, and tie, which kind of to me signifies like he's.
Yeah,
done.
He's quitting. He's not going to that meeting.
And so my whole thought is, because I did write down, like, what do you like after this experience? Yeah. What do you do?
You come back to the magical bathroom and start messing around with science.
What do you do? Like you can't go back to a normal life after this.
But anyway, he has some stomach problems.
Yeah.
He's gonna go into the bathroom to do some business. The janitor notices like flickering lights and stuff, and then he just leaves.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't have anything to do with it, but it's such a weird kind of red herring.
Like he says, you might not like who. One day you might see yourself, and might not like. So he kind of alludes to it.
Maybe he's in on it. Yeah.
It's like they leave that up to you, like whether or not. I will say though, you're talking.
My headcanon is it's him in some fashion. Yeah.
So, but see that I actually what I was thinking is because you're talking about like that janitor should be him, but I actually like that it's not, or at least it's not explicitly stated, because like honestly, that seems too.
No, yeah,
cliche.
I don't want
like,
it explained.
It seems like that would be your natural inclination is, he becomes a janitor over time.
It lessens it for sure if it is him.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird red herring.
It's a weird red herring.
That they have a...
Yeah. So he goes into the stall, he's using the bathroom, and suddenly someone walks up to the stall and just stands there.
This has happened to me a few times. Worst fears.
Yeah.
I remember there was at a recent job that I had. There was the main bathroom that I used. I like to use the corner stall. Who doesn't?
Yep.
You got the wall on one side. Door did not latch.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there was a couple of times where I wasn't fast enough to like grab the latch and
I've had
hold
that.
it, and someone opened it and did a full look in, and I was like, that is an unpleasant experience. That is not the worst though. Is the slit peek.
I have one to top that, Robert.
Oh, worse than the slit peek?
Yes.
Under the door?
No.
Over the door?
Yes, in a sense, but here's what it was: I was on a trip and I stopped at a rest stop, and inside of it, they had, you had your urinal, and then you had your stall next to it. For whatever reason, they built this stall with a half wall.
Yes, I've seen this. I've seen this in Utah.
If you walk up, there was a door to close, but if you walk up to the urinal, you just look to your left. You don't no tippy toe, no nothing. You're just looking into the guy. And I had to do business. Like I had to. So I was just sitting there and I'm like, please no one come in here, please. And someone comes in and we just have the most awkward eye contact of both. Like I don't blame
You gotta
him.
say something. You just gotta be like, I don't know why they did this. This is not my fault. They did this to us. Who do we sue?
Yeah. But it was just a moment of both of us looking like, this is by far the most awkward moment of both of our lives. Anyways, guy just stands at the stall door, and so he's like, hey, I'm in here. And then the guy, as you say, what everyone hates, looks through the crack, which you don't do. You don't do.
I mean, you do. You just hope you do it fast enough to see if anybody's in there.
Yeah. And that they're not looking at you.
Yeah. As long as you look through the crack and don't make eye contact, it's fine. But if you get a single eye contact, you're like, no, it's over. You have to go kill yourself.
Yeah, it's just done. That's the
you run out of the bathroom, you run downstairs and find another bathroom.
Yeah, quickly.
Unfortunately, in this scenario, you can't get out.
But anyway, so he gets pissed and he hits the door, and suddenly the guy outside the door starts fighting with someone.
Yes, gets into a scuffle.
Yeah, and so he starts, freaking out because there's a dude watching him. And then he's like, I'm coming out there. When he comes out there, there's no one there.
No, well, at this point, he has noticed the don't panic toilet paper.
No.
But he doesn't start reading it.
He knows
he notices that there's the toilet paper roll says don't panic on it. Yeah, in Sharpie.
Yeah. And so he then goes out into the bathroom, and there's suddenly no one's there. And it's just like, okay.
Empty.
So he's like, whatever, I'm going to leave, but he can't. Door's locked. And then, he, like I said, there's no one else is in the bathroom, but suddenly he hears the stall door lock.
Yeah.
And he very much he's like, there's no one else in here. He walks over, and I love this scene because he walks over to the stall and he stands in front of it, and he hears a guy say, hey, someone's in here, in his voice, in the exact line. And I love when he looks down at his shoes.
Yeah.
He's like, those were
already
my shoes.
breaking loop.
Yeah. He's like, those were my shoes. And then like he said, he goes to look, even though he knows that the guy goes look, he still does it because like, you're not going to believe it. You're like,
you don't take this time to catch on. You're not in it yet.
Is it really me in there? So he looks through and sees himself, and the exact same thing happens where himself pounds like, hey. And this is when a third player enters the ring.
Yeah.
And out of the stall comes a third him that just attacks him. Just going to town on him, just trying to beat the crap out of him for some reason.
Well, no, because he go and open another stall, and then that guy attacks him.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. He opens another stall.
The stall on the other end.
And the guy in that stall just comes out swinging.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Because that's going to be him in a few seconds.
Yes, they wrestle, and the guy who came out of the stall throws him into the stall, and then the stall opens again, and he jumps out to attack that guy.
Yeah,
which is a new him.
Which is him from just a few minutes.
Yes.
Just a minute ago or a few seconds ago.
So I feel like
so good,
so good.
Tight. The way this is all written, and the first time I watched it, I was so lost.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've watched it a second time, I'm just like, no, this is all.
Yeah.
Until a scene that's coming up here soon, it all just flows together so perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do feel when he gets thrown into the stall, because like I said, because at first, like, why would you look like once you see your shoes? But I get it, like, you're not gonna believe you're in a time loop.
Yeah.
Like, because that's not something that happens. So like, of course you notice your shoes. Of course you look, you hear yourself, you see yourself. But I could get why you wouldn't, or like and stuff. And then when you get attacked by yourself, but once you get thrown into the stall that the you that attacked you came out of, I think that would have been when it clicked. Where when the next meet opened the stall, I think I'm like, wait a sec, I would just
assuming I'm having a hallucination from some coffee stain or something.
What was in that coffee?
Yeah. Anyway, he goes and looks back in the original stall.
Yep.
And dead body in it.
Dead him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watch says 3:30.
3:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's only been a couple of minutes for him. He's probably at like 3:13, 3:14 right at this point. He falls down and throws up in the toilet, and that's when he starts reading the toilet paper that says, hey, you're in a time travel scenario. Yeah, I know that sounds right. It's so perfectly done. It's just written in the, like, this is weird. Nobody knows what's going on, but hey, time travel.
Yep.
And then it says, kill the paradox,
kill your future,
and the paradox, kill your future.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that this is when. So here's the thing: is what I wrote down is you follow. There are of course multiple hymns, but you follow 3 main versions of hymns throughout this.
Well, at this point, there's only one. Well, there's the dead guy in the stall, so now there's 2 versions of him.
Yeah. Well, he also fought.
Well, there's kind of one,
but still.
No, but that one version
is in his loop.
Still him within his loop.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a paradox where there's multiples yet.
Still, even when there are multiples past these 3, there's 3 main hymns who actually you get to follow through the stall doors. Like other ones just show up. And so there's number 1, who is our main guy, who we follow you out of it. And his biggest identifier is he stops wearing his suit coat pretty early. But there's also number 2, who we get introduced to just now, which is the guy who comes out, who I love this version of him, because this version of him has had a conversation with himself already confirming that they're in a time loop and fully believes. And so I just love him. He's like, you're right. You told me. And the other guy's like, what? And
that's what I said.
That's what they just have this conversation where he's like, and I just love when he realizes that he's talking to past him, where he's like, you're me. And stuff. But
this is the point in which things kind of go more off the rails.
Yes.
This is when the paradox start, because he's expecting the guy he's talking to to go into the stall and become him.
Exactly.
But he refuses to do it.
Exactly. So yes. Number 2
he changes the script.
Is like you go into the stall and you become, which I think one thing that number 2 doesn't think about is he's like, yeah, just go in there and see. But like, well, if he goes in there and sees, I mean, he kind of points out, then you'll be here telling myself. But he wants to prove it to him where they could work together. But it's like, well, if he goes in the stall, he's gone.
Yeah.
But anyways, number 2 wants number 1 to go in the stall, and number 1 decides not.
By the way, needs to poop this whole time.
Yes. Hey, I'm sorry. I've had to use the bathroom before, and then something like major happens, and your body knows how to shut that off for a second. Where it's just like you might have to poop, but after you've realize you're in a time paradox, fought yourself, seen a dead version of yourself, your body's like, hey, we can hold off on the poop for now. We can come back to this once the world starts making sense again.
Anyway, they decide they're going to work together.
Yes.
The 2 paradoxes, and they go to the wall and they pull out some kind of poster or something.
Pull
a poster off the wall, flip it around. And then they start drawing out the map, the time map.
I love this conversation because one thing I love is they're trying to figure out the time. And he's like, so if I'm here and you're here. And then I just love when he's like, we're doing 80s time travel.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing that, gets talked about all the time. When you're like talking about time travel and that sort of stuff, it's like, are we talking about Back to the Future? Or are we talking about Primer? What type of time? Groundhog's Day? What type of time travel are we doing with? And I just love it. Like, we're doing 80s time travel.
That's right. But so we got Mr. 318 and Mr. 320. Right. So I love when they start talking about so he's like, okay, well, in order to break the paradox, we got to kill the future self.
Yes.
You're my 320, you're my future self.
Yes.
And he's like, but you're going to be your future self. It's like,
and
it gets kind of weird with the dialogue and stuff. It's hard for us to explain, but you know if you see it. But I love when he's like, well, how am I going to kill myself? We'll use the gun. It's like, I don't have a gun. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Then he points,
and that's the one thing that
where does the gun come
just
from?
materializes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he grabs it from the guy who shot himself, but how did the gun enter the loop?
How did the gun enter the loop? That's the only. Because when you first said something didn't make sense, like, no, I think it all makes sense. But the gun is the one thing that you're just like, huh?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe when you break the paradox, I don't know. No, because I guess he was already dead before they broke the loop. Yeah, who knows, man? That's so weird. So where does the gun come from? But so they 318 wants 320 to kill himself.
Yeah.
And this is when we switch from following 320 to follow 318 for a little bit, because he goes into the stall, comes out, goes and checks to see that the guy at 330 is dead, which he is, and he thinks he's free to go, and he goes and grabs the door and can't, and just as he grabs the door handle, another version of 320 comes out the stall.
Yeah.
And they're both pissed because they're like, wait a sec, we're not supposed to be here. I love
this is the best line in the whole episode where this exchange is just so great. He's like, Well, you already know then, right?
Yeah, he's like,
You're the future.
he's like, I just told, because he's like, you got to kill yourself. I was like, no, I just told this to the other guy. I was like, yeah, then you already know.
Yeah.
It's just
Where
like,
do I go? Electrocute myself? Whatever kills you.
Yeah.
Just
he's like, whatever.
he's like, this really sucks. He's like, I know.
Yeah. And so 320, the original, thinks 320 the second is going to kill himself and goes into a stall as we continue to follow him. And when he comes out the stall this time, I just love, there's one of them in the back like studying the poster.
Yeah.
There's another one like pissed off at the mirror. There's one taking a leak. Like he comes out and there's like 4 of them in the room also.
Yeah.
And they're all just pissed off.
The one where, I mean, that kind of goes off the rails at that point where it's kind of harder to follow. But really where it loses me is when a jacketless one just dives into a stall and checks a watch that says 328. And I just don't, it just seemed kind of like, I didn't understand where that came from.
No, because that thing is, so back, that jacketless one, that's number 1. That's 310 who does that. And what he's seen, because remember, 320 eventually, well, actually, no, it's not 320. It's actually the guy we don't know what time he is, but the guy who's studying the poster is the one. Gotcha. And that's the third version. He deduces he needs to kill all the paradoxes to get out. And so he starts popping them. And remember, he kills, if you watch him, he's killing them and put them in the stall. And the one he puts in the stall right before he goes back to 310 is the guy who dies. Basically, he's the guy who dies right before the last one, 330, would die.
Gotcha.
So when 310 opens that stall in the past or in his time, the body's already there, and it's at 328 because, like I said, he's killing them in order. And so he sees that guy right before. We don't know. I don't know what number this guy is. We never get to see what his watch is.
Gotcha.
But anyways, so yeah, basically, like I said, so we 320 is with the rest of the idiots, as we'll call them, and we'll just call him the smart one. Deduces, the only way out of this paradox is if all of the rest of us are dead.
We will refer to him as Bloody Guy.
Bloody Guy, yes,
because he's just covered in blood. He's like, I can make the meeting. I'm like, you don't have time to watch.
He's still focused on his meeting. That's the thing is, so Bloody Guy decides to start killing the rest of them and starts popping them. And while he's doing this, and I love this scene, because actually we get to see 310 meet another 310. 310 is still trying to escape, and all of a sudden the door opens, and I just love the reaction, and he's like, hey, it's time. And he's like, what? And he's like, any last request? And then he closes the door, and he's like, what? And that's 310 from in the future.
Yeah.
Because after that scene, Bloody Guy comes back, and he's like, you're the last one.
Yep.
I need to kill you, and that gets me out of here. And 310 pieces together that
he was the one that just did the last request.
Yeah, he's the one who does the last request. So he goes into the original stall, and this is where it's just a masterstroke. He closes the stall door to travel back in time.
Just as Blood Guy shoots through the door.
Through the stall door. And so when Bloody Guy opens that stall door, because it's in a different time, and you even see the back of that door doesn't have a hole.
Yeah.
Because it's in a different time, or the bullet went through the door to a different time, so that the inside of the stall is not there. We get 310 Guy. He comes back out and slams the door on Bloody Guy. And when he slams the door, Bloody Guy travels back to be right as he shot the gun.
Yep, and the bullet finishes
and
going
shoots himself
through.
in the head. And if you're confused by all that, I don't blame you.
You got to watch it a couple of times to really get it.
Does it no justice.
Yeah. Beautiful, masterful time travel work.
Like, just a great time travel short film. Like,
wonderful.
It's really high up there in my opinion.
Stalled. You gotta watch it.
Stalled on Omeleto. Check out
watch
Omeleto.
That one. Watch tons of them. Watch some that we've suggested, others that we haven't.
Yep.
There's something in there for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And if you watch some and that we didn't suggest and you think it's good, send it our way. Because I would love to watch some more.
We're probably going to talk about some of these more in the future, you know, as we continue to work through our lull in programming.
Yes. Speaking about our lull, though, we do have a date of when a certain show comes back.
Yes,
Robert.
Invincible. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
March 14th, folks. March 14th.
Fantastic.
We're going to get back to it.
I can't wait.
Me
That
either.
first half was so good.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Freaking fantastic.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and Instagram, and email us, watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, folks, at that time of year, it is time for the Oscars. They're long movies, folks.
There's
And
long movies.
a lot.
10 of them.
We're gonna be doing this in 2 episodes this year. Yeah. Just so we can hit all of them. We can really dive into what we like or don't like about them, and just really give our thoughts. So yeah,
they won't be deep dives.
No, not deep dives.
Glancing over, and we'll give our suggestions on what we think are going to be the best ones. And,
give our pick. What we want to win, which won't win because so far we have not been able. I thought when we picked The Father,
Father was so good.
The Father, of course, it's going to win. Anthony Hopkins just killing it.
Not just Anthony Hopkins. I mean, he did win best actor. He did. For that role,
and deserved it.
But just that it did something special in the way they told the story that subverted expectations and really gave an interesting perspective on Alzheimer's and just so good. And I really thought it kind of pushed the genre forward. I mean, I think it was such good storytelling. I think if it had won Best Picture, that more people would have adopted the style that was presented there. But I guess, I knew that, not Ant-Man, Birdman.
Yeah,
I knew Birdman was going to win because it did the insane long shot thing that it did, but no one's really done anything like that since.
Nope.
It's just a singular movie. The Father. Go and watch The Father. It's slow. It's sad, but damn, it was It was in the opinion of the Watchin It podcast, it was the best movie of 2022.
No, 2021.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, we got the Oscars coming up, folks. Get ready for that. Give us any rating reviews, 5 stars, and thanks so much for listening. Bye.